Hi creative friends, my name is Susan Yates and a huge warm welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I wanted to talk to you about something quite close to my heart. Why working small in your sketchbook is actually really powerful. So if you've ever felt like really stuck, really overwhelmed, or you feel like you just don't have time to be creative, this video is absolutely for you. Because here's the truth, you don't actually need hours of free time or big blank pages to make beautiful and meaningful art. In fact, working small on a regular basis might just unlock more joy, confidence, and consistency than you expect. It certainly has for me. So let's talk about why. Okay, so there are a huge number of benefits to working small in small spaces in your sketchbook. And the first one of these is it is simply less pressure. When you're working in a tiny space, in a box, in a grid, in a thumbnail, or even just a small sketchbook generally, there is just simply less pressure. It's just one small square, one small space, one tiny page. It's easy, it's approachable, and certainly very doable. When I pick up a really big sketchbook, like one that's A3 or even bigger in size, or when I grab a massive canvas to start a painting, that can be really intimidating, and our brains can just get a little bit fearful. They want to protect us from making a big mistake. Whereas when you work in a little handheld sketchbook, in a little tiny grid or a little thumbnail, my brain, and yours might be the same, goes, oh, that's okay. That's safe to play there. So sketching in tiny grids, definitely less pressure. Now, the second benefit or reason why working small is so good for your creativity is that it allows you to carry out more experimentation. Working in small spaces gives you permission to try new things without the fear of ruining anything. If you want to try out a new pen, a new paint, experiment with a new abstract shape or way of working, there's no problem because it's just a tiny sketch. It gives you a chance to have a little taster of that material or new method without the fear of ruining that great big page. There's a real freedom in working in small spaces, whether it's a thumbnail, a grid, or a tiny sketchbook, that just makes play and experimentation so much easier. And when I say the words play and experimentation, my shoulders drop. There's so much joy and fun to be had from that creative play. Okay, so the third tip, the third benefit of working small is probably one of my favorites: faster results. It's one of the most satisfying things that you can complete a sketch or a study in just a few minutes. You get that little spark of accomplishment which really boosts your confidence and makes you want to come back to that sketchbook again and again. And when you do this on a regular basis, when you reinforce that creativity is fun and that your confidence is boosted and you enjoy it, it really makes creativity a positive experience. And certainly as someone who perhaps where patience isn't their strong suit, working in little pockets of time, small sketches where I can get a really quick result in a tiny amount of time, it really works for me. And certainly if you are a busy person that has lots going on and you don't have lots of time and you don't have 2 hours to dedicate to doing any sketching, working in tiny spaces might work for you too. Now, I touched on this a minute ago, but the fourth reason why I love working in small spaces is that it fits into everyday life. Whether you've got just 2 minutes when you flick a kettle on to boil, 10 minutes before bed, 20 minutes having a cup of tea at 11 o'clock in your tea break, tiny sketches fit into real life. And it really means that you don't need to wait for the perfect time, the perfect circumstances, the perfect view, the perfect setup. You can just get going with a little sketchbook and a pencil, a small pack of materials, really minimal materials, and a few minutes, little space, and you can even just stand up, sit down, work on a table, work on top of a bag. You can do this anywhere. So it's super convenient to fitting into everyday life. And anything that removes that barrier to sketching, I think is a big win. If you have to think too much our logical brain kicks in. Whereas if you have this sketchbook and a pencil right there waiting, just start. You haven't got to think too much with that logical brain. You can just get going and tap into that creative brain. Now, finally, I want to talk about how thumbnails and grids create structure. And I know that doesn't sound super sexy, super enticing. Oh, I love a bit of structure in my creativity. But thumbnails and grids and spaces to work in that are small are very, very powerful tools. Because by giving yourself a structure, it helps your sketching, your creativity to feel safe and contained, which actually makes it so much easier to start. Sometimes when there are too many possibilities, when you could sketch anything in the world, choosing from anything is very intimidating, it's very overwhelming, and our brain can start to do little circles and loops with, where do I start, what do I draw? But if you have a structure, if you have a grid, a selection of thumbnails created on your sketchbook page, you already know where you're going to sketch. There's something really calming about having a page of tiny squares or rectangles waiting for your creativity. And I know that by having a framework for creativity, actually we become more creative. So do give it a try. Thumbnails and grids really give you that framework and structure that will help to boost your creativity in these tiny pockets of time within your day. So I remember a time when I first started sketching in tiny boxes in my sketchbook, and to be honest, it was quite a relief. I didn't need to create a masterpiece, just a little moment, a leaf I'd seen on a walk, a doodle, a shadow on a table, a curve of a teacup, and I know that over time those sketches added up. And it really helped me to create a regular sketching habit. I think there can be some real pressure that when you see sketchbooks from artists in all their glory, which I love, I absolutely love, and I love to create great big sketches in sketchbooks, but that can be quite intimidating. And I think when you're first starting out or where you are limited in time, pressurizing yourself to create long sketches all the time is just a bit much. And I know that my personal foundation for sketching are these tiny little sketches on a regular basis because I'm tapping into that creative brain every single day. I'll come back to it and back to it. So if, for example, let me just quickly show you this sketchbook here. If I've been doing this little thing here where I'm doing a few little dots in a square, and I've done this maybe say in 2 or 3 minutes, and I put this away, do you know what? By lunchtime, I'm like, do you know what? I want to do that second square. I want to go back in and do it. And that creativity builds up. You need to exercise the muscles first, those creative muscles, to then be able to do those longer stretches of creativity, because those creative muscles have already flexed, they've already experimented. And all those 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes that you do, they build up. And if you add those up over the week, you really do end up doing quite a lot of sketching, which is what I think is wonderful. Now, everything that I've spoken about today is exactly at the heart of my brand new online course called Tiny Moments. This course is launching at the end of August 2025, and it's a comprehensive 7-module online course. And in the course, I will guide you through using grids and thumbnails to build a gentle and joyful sketching practice. We'll cover materials, sketchbook warm-ups, sketching objects from everyday life, sketching nature being inspired by that wonderful green stuff around us, and also looking at landscapes as well. We'll have a play with our materials, and I'll even set you a little tiny sketchbook project, which is super, super fun. And all of this fits into small, manageable, creative sessions. Me time. Now, if this sounds like something that you need right now or you're curious about, you can join my email list or sign up to the waiting list for Tiny Moments. Just look at the link below this video and I will send you more information about the course, and you'll be the first to know when doors are open for new registrations. So I would love to have you join me, so do sign up today. And if you have any comments or questions about the course, please just pop something in the comments below this video. Now, next week, I'll actually walk you through a tiny sketchbook spread so you can see just how easy and fun it is to start small. So make sure you're subscribed to this YouTube channel and hit the bell if you don't want to miss it. And if you want something else to watch right now after this video, take a look at last week's YouTube video where I opened up my own tiny sketching kit. I showed you some of my sketchbooks and all of the things that I pop in a little pencil case when I go out and about to sketch in tiny moments. So thanks so much for being here and watching this video today, and I'll see you next Friday for more tiny moments of creativity. Happy sketching, everyone!